of this retreat that various policies, there has to be coherence between, for example, CBN monetary policies and the tariff policies of the Ministry of Finance, the trade policies and industrial policies of the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, evil customs. First, I'm dealing with those things that will, because sometimes you can't be pursuing attracting investors and at the same time creating an environment that will discourage investors. So every minister and every MDA must conduct and manage its affairs in such a way that there is coherence, that the action of one ministry complement that of the other. Rather than competing, they should be cooperating and collaborating. Bear in mind that at the end of the day, we are going to be judged by how many Nigerians are less poor now, going forward than they are as of today. And to achieve that, obviously, you can't afford one man going left, the other one going right. That is why the entire approach is teamwork. And by staying together for 2 days, meeting each other, arguing, debating, they are already bonding. And bonding is a requirement for teamwork.
A word from you to Nigerians.
I think they should be rest assured that the president, more than any one of us else, recognizes that it's a huge privilege to be trusted by the number of people that voted for him. And he has no choice, and he is totally committed to ensuring that he leaves legacies behind that people will be proud of. And that is why in all of the conversation since yesterday and today, it's about the mass of our people. We're talking about housing, we're talking of mass housing, talking of infrastructure, how that we facilitate and enable our rural people. Talking about prohibiting, for example, importation of food, that is reconciling the elite to consume what the rural poor produces. The real idea is to transfer resources to those who have been deprived of it so that we can achieve evil development and lift the rural people and the urban poor, out of poverty. I think the president is clear, the party is clear, and the ministers who have the privilege of being nominated, they are also clear. And don't forget, ministers hold their office at the pleasure of the president.
Thank you very much, sir.
To deliver on that agenda. But the first thing that we seek to achieve from these 2 days conversation is to share with them what that agenda is. Because to be honest, many of them did not even attend some of those rallies. Some may be sufficiently aware of the key elements that constitute the next level agenda. Some may not. Some may have come with different ideas, to the right, to the left, to the center. But this government was elected on the basis of specific manifesto and specific promises, campaign promises, which were led by our president, President Muhammadu Buhari, which he summarized into 3 key areas of security, economy, and anti-corruption. Now, the key challenge is whatever anybody is going to do, and of course, at the end of the day, those 3 are not end in themselves. The overall objective is to be able to lift as much as 100 million people out of poverty. Now, to lift 100 million people out of poverty will not be the result of prayers and of miracles. It has to be the outcome of meticulous planning and even more robust commitment to execute policies and programs. That at the end of the day, in all of that we focus on, the question is, how does this action I'm about to take, how will it impact on the quality of life of the Nigerian people? And that's why we brought out we remind ourselves of the people who gathered around the stadium in 36 states. Now, anything you are doing in Abuja, the basis for measuring how did we fare, what is the essence of it, is to look at how it impacts on the other Nigeria who doesn't live here. And to lift 100 million people out of poverty is not going to be achieved by miracle. I think discussing with everyone and also recognizing that Nigeria no longer have the luxury. The days are gone when we said, some people say, our problem is not money but how to spend it. Right now, getting resources is a huge challenge. So we must interrogate all the sources of funding, also interrogate how we spend, the trees we make, cutting down the cost of running government, so that we can free resources for development, and reminding ministers that whatever they do, from time to time we will have to assemble the party, the government, the legislature, because we also have a majority in the National Assembly, and look at the target set and how far we've gone to achieve those targets. The bottom line is that we have to remind the ministers that this government is a progressive party elected on the basis of social democracy. So our program, our growth must be such that it is pro-poor. We don't just want to create wealth, we want to make sure that when wealth is created, that it is reflected in the quality of life of the Nigerian people. That is the bottom line. You remember that there was a president who said he wants to produce 30 billionaires. In the end, I think he succeeded in producing about 20 billionaires, according to him. This president will not produce billionaires. What he wants to do is to lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty. So the tools for achieving that have to be different from the tools that were used, to enrich few people at the expense of the majority. I think that's been a worthwhile exercise, and I believe the ministers are clear that Sahel of work ahead, and the president told them yesterday it will be long hours, not just long hours, but hard work for us to be able to deliver over the next, in fact, less than 4 years ago.
So the president has stressed on the need for cohesion.